Hey guys, I'm Ava, and let's talk about Pokemon. So today, we're going to be talking, we're just going to sit down, have a nice chat, you and I. It's been a while since we did one of these videos, but I just wanted to talk about, investing in Pokemon and trading cards and collectibles in general in 2022, because I think this year is very different than last year. I don't think that's really even an opinion. I think that's just a fact. But, there are a lot more opportunities now, I would say, than there were last year, because last year, I would say, my strategy was pretty boring. I was buying a lot of just new product that I could get below MSRP, which worked really well for the time because so many things were overpriced, but now that prices are coming back down and are getting a bit more reasonable, I do feel more comfortable going and purchasing things that I wouldn't have been so comfortable with last year. And there are a lot more opportunities to find actual deals this year. You do definitely have to be more creative than like pre-2020, but I think those opportunities are still out there. So today I wanted to talk about, how I'm finding those, going over a few recent examples from this year, and just talking about how we can employ these to, do the best we can with our collecting and investing goals, because regardless of whether or not you care that much about the financial aspect, it's always good to optimize everything. That's part of why I love the hobby. Like, I love optimizing things, making spreadsheets, analyzing things. So for me, that's part of how I enjoy the hobby. And let's just talk first about finding deals. So definitely, when we're talking about sources to look, eBay used to be kind of the be all end all, but now you have to be a bit more creative. Part of the opportunity to, get those excess returns is buying things below market price. And the way you do that is with superior knowledge, or also, using creative resources. So for example, eBay, there are so many eyes on it. It's not really that easy to find a deal anymore because someone else is looking at it, and if they don't think it's a deal, it might not be. Definitely still opportunities out there. I'm still buying things on eBay. But also, if you go to places like Buy or something, you're having an advantage, because if you're buying, say, Japanese exclusive cards, you're getting them directly from Japan, so you're not going to have to pay as much as a lot of people who are buying things on eBay. I've bought a lot of things through Buy, whether it's Japanese exclusive cards or sealed product. It's definitely been a great resource for me. I've gotten things like Poncho Pikachus, the 15th anniversary Pikachu, some sealed Japanese product. It's a really great resource to get things below the current market price in the US. So that's kind of part of where that, creativity comes in, and also just being resourceful. And the reason you're able to get that is because there is a premium for putting in a little more work, right? Because it's not as easy to go on Buy and buy something as it is here, especially just looking for things. I don't speak Japanese, I speak Chinese, but that is not very helpful. You can do this without like any type of knowledge of that. It's a lot of copying and pasting different keywords. So that's just an example of being creative with where you're buying things. Another place is like Facebook Marketplace. Mercari tends to be a bit overpriced, but again, just checking places where other people aren't is definitely going to help you out. Also, at this point in the video, I'm just wondering, if you're not subscribed, why? Because I would really recommend it, Another important thing is obviously to do your homework and do some research. And I'm not just talking about what is the fair value for this. You can start getting actually really creative with this. So a great example I would say are the products behind me, which are the mythical pin collections from the 20th anniversary. I love these things. I think they look so awesome on display. There are 11 of them. Wish there were 12, but there's one for every mythical Pokemon. So why I like these so much is, one, they look really great on display. Two, they have a story behind them. And three, when you actually do the math, the value of these is really good. So this is what I'm talking about, okay? So, one of these costs, now it's closer to $100, depends where you're buying and which one. But the thing is, the value of the packs inside is $80 right out of the gate. So each of those goes for about $40, each of the Generations packs, I should say. So each of those goes for $40. That's $80 right there. Then when you add in the promo and the pin and the fact that it's sealed, because there's always a premium, or there should always be a premium for things that are sealed, that means you're getting a lot of value in there. I purchased all of these for $82.50 a piece, including shipping. And that was a really good value, because when you add up we can apply some investing terms like book value is talking about the value of all the assets within something. Normally it's within a company, the net value of all those assets. But here we can just say it's the value of all the contents inside if you took them out of the packaging. But the contents were worth more just taken apart. So that's always a really, really good sign for a sealed product when you are able to get something below that book value, because you know that you have some built-in margin of safety there, because you could theoretically just open it all and sell it for parts. But you also know that most likely this is going to get corrected, because that type of thing is inefficient, and over time those things do get corrected, and we know that there's a premium for sealed product. So that's something I would recommend looking at. And also, like, you know, when I bought these, $82.50, the packs were still $40 a piece at the time. You know, the graded cards are worth a lot for these. If you get these graded, the populations are really low. Obviously that might change, and it probably will, especially with lower grading tiers getting opened up, but that does lead to like another potential avenue for value. So I like these because you have multiple options with them. I could just hold them, keep them sealed for a really long time, and watch them go up. I could open them right now and sell the packs and grade the cards and make some money doing that, or I could just sell the cards raw, still break even. And the thing is also, these packs aren't weighed. Generations is somewhat weighable. So when you do that research, you know, I couldn't really find much online, but I went and watched a bunch of videos of people weighing them and opening them, and you can do the math. They're weighable a little bit. It depends what you're looking for. So that's another example of something where doing a little bit of research is going to be really helpful, because for me, I really like Generations and I might want to open it, but I don't want to open weighed packs. So I have these now and I can do that. And having a complete set of something also will often get you a premium to the right person, especially when they get really rare, because at a certain point, these are going to be rare enough that it's not that easy to get all of them at any given point in time. When you look these up on eBay, there are 94 listings, and a lot of them aren't even the sealed products. It's a lot of just actual pins. So that to me says when there are 11 of them and there's only 94 listings, that supply is getting a little bit lower. So this is a product I like because it has a story. And you know, when you do some math, when you watch some videos about people opening packs, you can find those deals that potentially still are out there. Now, each of these depends on the one. I would say probably the average price is $100. Some of them may be more, some of them may be less. The Mew definitely goes for more. So, you know, if you can buy all of these together in bulk, definitely a good option. So that is one strategy I'd recommend. I'm not saying to buy these specifically. I'm just telling you, you know, my reasoning behind this and kind of the thought process behind that purchase. So another thing is also like, look really carefully at listings. So there are times where you're able to get a really good deal for a variety of reasons. So one example is this Shining Legends Premium Powers collections that I bought. I got this for $200, and I think you might be able to see why. Right here, you can see that it's creased. So obviously this is like not a mint condition product, and you know, that stinks. But also I had this on display in the background for a really long time and nobody noticed it. You can just set something in front of that. But the reason this is so good is for the same reason as the previous one, but this is an example where you're getting a massive premium. So I got that for $200. I think it's going for like the lowest listing on TCG Player is $380. I doubt they're really selling for that much, but that's the lowest listing I saw on TCG Player. But regardless, each of the packs in there goes for about $20. There are 8 packs, so that's $160 of value right there. Then you have the Shining Lugia, that's $40 right there because it's mint, it's fresh. So that's $200 right off the bat. And then you still have the Shining Celebi, the Ho-Oh, the oversized card, that Pikachu promo, it's like $3. So all in all, the value of it is probably like at least $250 in just the raw contents. And I paid $200 for that. And personally, I would pay more than that. I would want a discount because it is damaged, but half the price was a really good deal for that. And that's just an example of, you know, if you find something that maybe other people are saying no to, you might want to just double check, do the math behind it, because even though this product is damaged, the contents inside are perfectly fine. So I would say that's still a really good deal. So then other things to be mindful of, obviously, you know, I'm talking about things to buy, how to get deals and whatnot, but also avoiding FOMO is really, really important. I know everyone, I think, you know, had this drilled into their brain in 2021, like, no, now's not the time, but also like that still applies today, right? People are saying, oh, the market's cooled down, like maybe now's a good time to buy, but it's still important to be mindful of that. And also I think people, especially right now, just feel like they have to buy everything that's coming out. Like that's still a mentality that people have. I have not bought every single thing that's coming out. And keep in mind, I am a completionist, so I want every single thing that's coming out. But one thing that, you know, helps give me some solace is knowing that I don't have to buy it today. I could always buy it a year from now, 5 years from now. Even if I have to pay a lot more, the thing is, I'm still buying lots of trading cards. So theoretically, those are going to appreciate in value as well. Hopefully at a similar rate on average. I could always just trade for that item later, right? You know, obviously there are certain things that are going to be exceptions to this that are exceptional products. And a lot of times, you know, I do go out of my way to get those, but just kind of staying calm, not feeling like you have to go all in on every single product that's coming out or any single one at all, I think is definitely going to be the best strategy. Obviously, it's best to diversify. Can't really diversify that much when you're just buying trading cards, I will say. So you should probably buy other things that aren't trading cards. Not financial advisor, not financial advice, but I would say might not be a good idea to blow all your money on trading cards. So investing in other things is obviously really important. You know, recession is coming. So be mindful of that. That could affect these adversely as well. Another important thing to keep in mind is definitely macroeconomic conditions. So, you know, in our tiny world of trading cards, we just talked about the Pokemon market, but we should keep in mind the actual market as well, the actual state of the economy, because these are unnecessary expenditures that a lot of people cut in times of, you know, economic downturns. So it's important to be mindful of that. And like, although cards did do well in 2020, that was an exceptional period of time. And most likely the economy is going to continue to get worse, regardless of whether or not you think we are in a recession, because that is like a valid debate that people are having right now. Things are likely going to get worse. We're having to raise interest rates. You know, we're seeing similar things to what could happen in the 80s, which got really, really bad. Interest rates peaked at almost 20% back then. And if we have to get to that point now, which we may not, obviously, I'm not saying we will, not financial advice, not financial advisor, you know, but I'm just saying, don't spend all your money on trading cards right now. Probably a good idea. Probably, you know, good idea not to do that. And, you know, a lot of times those products that are going to give you the best ROI are going to be the things that people aren't, you know, talking about all the time. My first ever trading card investment back in early high school, back in the good old days, some cards was Yu-Gi-Oh! Clearance on Walmart.com. My dad told me that I was probably wasting my money, spent $60 to get 3 products for $20 each, and now I think they're worth close to $400 each. And the fact that they were on clearance indicates that people probably weren't super excited about them. Granted, it was a very different time, you know, back then. People weren't talking about trading cards as much in this way as they are now. So it was a bit of a risk, but I would say that principle does still hold true. Obviously, don't go and buy like really shitty products, but I think it's important to do your due diligence. People aren't talking about products like this that much, but I think there's a lot of potential value in those, especially because they tell a story, right? That's like a really great principle of investing. You know, whenever I'm looking at something for work, it's like, what is the story behind this business, whether it's good or bad? You know, what direction is the company going? All of those things matter so much. The fundamentals are really important, and this is also part of fundamentals. It's not a number, it's not quantifiable, but it's something to keep in mind. Another thing I would say that's really important is to have fun with it, because when you're having fun with something, you're going to be way more diligent, to be honest, because it's going to give you that extra attention to detail, that willingness to spend that time scrolling through eBay listings. Like, if you enjoy doing that, that's going to give you a massive advantage. Personally, I love doing that type of thing. And also, I'm just having so much more fun because I feel like there's so much more now that I can buy and feel comfortable buying than I could in 2020 or 2021. And like going on Heritage Auction, doing all of those things has been like really fun because I feel a lot more comfortable buying singles and graded cards now than I did back then. Obviously, be mindful of the prices and still get a deal. But I'm just like having so much fun. I've been buying quite a range of things. Vintage packs has been really fun for me to start buying because I wanted to do that for a long time. And now I feel like prices are getting a little bit more reasonable, so I'm feeling more comfortable doing that and just buying more graded cards in general. You know, this one right here like is one of my Grail cards. Didn't get like a super great deal on it, but it's one that I've wanted for a really long time. And to me, like, it doesn't even matter if that appreciates. That would be a total bonus. But just having fun with it and having fun purchases mixed in with all of your strategic ones, it's gonna make this way more of a hobby rather than something that you should be stressing out all the time. The next thing also, very similar vein, don't check the prices of things all the time. I don't check the prices of the things I buy after I buy them much at all. I'll check maybe like once every 6 months a sealed product that I'm just curious about. But there's so many things where I have not checked the prices recently. I could probably guess what the price is, especially because things haven't been moving in crazy directions like they were before. But I think it's just not good for your mental health. This goes the same for any kind of portfolio you have. I don't check my portfolios every single day. Like, it really helps me make better decisions and better long-term decisions when I don't. So that's something that, you know, has been really helpful for me. Granted, I look at the products every single day. Like, these are sitting out here every single day, so they're on my mind, but not their value. So I think that's something that's also important to keep in mind. And it's also going to help, again, keep it a fun hobby, right? Because that's what this is at the end of the day. I've said this a bunch of times, but one of the key tenets I have when I'm buying trading cards is I only buy things, whether it's for personal or investing, especially investing actually, like if it's something that I would actually want and I actually think is cool, because that's a great indicator whether other people are going to want it or not in the future. Obviously, there are products that most people don't think are that cool, that do really well, or that have a turnaround. ETBs are actually a great example of this, right? People thought they were kind of a joke product. Now they're doing super well. We all know that, so I'm not going to go into detail on that. But that's not a universal rule. And I think so many people are trying to play that strategy now that a lot of times that's priced in. And like, I just don't recommend that strategy. And also, you're going to be more stressed out about it, right? Because if it's not going up, then it's not serving the one purpose that you bought it for, which is for value. Whereas if it's something you also like, that's okay because you enjoy owning it and you're happy to have it. Second is you're not even going to want to look at it. Like, I love having things that I can display in the background, so you're not getting that enjoyment out of it as a collectible, and you're just going to be stressed out about it and going and constantly checking the prices. So I would recommend not doing that for sure. And then, you know, talking about modern sealed product, because that's always what people want to talk about and what's on everybody's mind, it seems like all the time. But, you know, again, I think the same principles hold true. Buying things at MSRP or close to MSRP or ideally below MSRP is definitely going to be the way to go. That's been my strategy for the past few years. It's still going to be my strategy going forward. It's served me well. You know, like way earlier this year, I was talking about how I wasn't recommending Evolving Skies, and it's down from that high when I recommended it. I'm not trying to say this as like a flex, like, oh, I'm right, but you know, again, it just kind of shows that those products that have already appreciated so much in the short term might flatline for a little while, right? Because they're still a new product and they're still being printed. Whereas something like Fusion Strike, granted it hasn't gone up a lot, or Chilling Reign, they haven't gone up a lot, but they've gone up from that like $80 per booster box price point, right? Because it can't go that much lower realistically. I mean, obviously they could print 1 million of them, you know, so many of them that the market just can't absorb them all. But that's just not realistic at a certain point. And again, to me, it's more important not to lose a lot of money than to make a lot of money in the short run by luck, right? Because it's really important. Just because something has done well doesn't make it the right choice. You've got to have that perspective, right? Just because something has done well doesn't make it the right choice. And just because something hasn't done as well doesn't mean that it was the wrong choice or that it was based in poor fundamentals. It depends on your goals. If you are willing to take on a lot of risk, then you should expect a really high return. If you've taken on a lot of risk, but you're just getting average returns or comparable returns to things that are theoretically lower risk, because even though all trading cards are a risky investment because it's a collectible, there are certainly things that are riskier than others, right? So you have to be mindful of that because you have to think about the risk-adjusted returns, right? If you're buying something incredibly risky, you demand higher expected return. And if you're not getting that, then you should change something up and you should buy things that are lower risk, because in the long run, like, that matters. And over time, things average out, right? You can get lucky in the short run, but over time, things average out. And you can be really, really successful and really, really great and still have that type of thing happen. Jesse Livermore, really, really interesting story. Recommend you guys reading about him. He's a really good example of this. But I don't want to talk about this for too long, so I won't waste any more of you guys' time. But I just wanted to make this video really quickly because I think it's fun to talk about these things, and I love watching these types of sit-down videos. And I just kind of wanted to talk more about what I'm doing this year as opposed to last year, because I think it is definitely getting more fun and more exciting, and I'll probably be buying a lot more interesting things than I was last year, so I'm very, very excited about that. Things like these are, you know, things that I really like to purchase. I love purchasing older products that not everybody has. Obviously that's the collector's mindset, but it doesn't excite me as much to be buying ultra modern product as it does things like this. This is only 5 years old, but even older things, you know, more WotC packs, all of that has been really, really fun. So I hope you guys are able to have a really fun time collecting for the rest of this year and beyond, because I think there's going to be a lot more opportunities out there. As always though, be smart with your money. This isn't financial advice. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you like these types of videos, please subscribe and let me know in the comments so I can keep making them. I don't know if people like these types of videos. And if you find them valuable at all, you know, feel free to join my Patreon, or you can just click my affiliate link. It doesn't cost you anything, but I do get a small kickback, which would be really epic. Thank you guys so much for watching, especially my patrons, including Chris, Corey, and Jake. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a good one.